Yo, another day on Keep It G News. Now, before I get in this video, can y'all like it for me? God dang, y'all is stingy on the likes, man. I be giving it all I got on this bitch, you heard me. Share this video if you can to your social medias, because in this video, we're going to talk about a rapper out of my city by the name of Lil X. Now, Lil X kind of expanded a little bit further than the city. I got to give him more credit than that, because he got well over 1 million views on YouTube. Well over 1 million. 80,000 followers on Instagram. Very outspoken. You know, he look out for his community. You gotta give him respect right there. But he got hit with some charges maybe 5 years ago, you know. And I know for the streets of Baltimore, at least I was wondering what happened, you know, because he had bailed out on these charges. Then it just like, it fizzled out. Now, before it fizzled out, you know, it was some things that probably prolonged it. You know, you had COVID, you know, you had the sit down. That went on. Then his lawyer, Kenneth Ravenel, ended up getting in trouble. Like, it was crazy. And I was wondering how that was going to affect this case. So, in this video, I'm going to take y'all through some of the series of events that played out that led to this plea that I'm going to get to later, including the death of a comedian that shocked Baltimore when he passed. A comedian by the name of G Songs, you know, because he was a civilian. Did his thing, man, in college. So it's like, yo, you don't typically see civilians being murdered in Baltimore. Especially not notable ones. Not back then. Now, you're starting to see it now, but for the most part, yo, in my city, in Baltimore, it's a whole bunch of criminals killing criminals. You know, if you're a civilian, for the most part, you will be safe. Not really safe from robbery. That can happen to you, but you don't really got to worry about being murdered like that. At least not 5 years ago. At least not when I came up. Like I say, it's starting to become a way of life now that needs to stop. But I don't want to get too far off track, man. Let's
people gonna take it, some people gonna leave it, but I'm just being real. I've been in the streets all my life. Yo, when you portray yourself and open yourself up as a street nigga, bro, you is subject to anything, bro. Like weed, dope, coke, whatever, bro. You ain't even gotta be selling shit. But if you portray yourself as a street nigga, bro, you gotta be ready to take whatever comes behind this shit. Ain't no such thing as, oh, they hating on yo now and they don't. Nah, fuck no, bro. It's niggas out here, bro, who really rob, they kill for a living, bro, in the streets. Ain't no robber or no killer just out this bitch saying, yeah, yo making $35 an hour. Yo, he doing this. We gonna grab yo on Friday and take his whole check. Fuck no. But now when you on this Instagram shit and you portray yourself as a street nigga and all that, yeah, the plot begin to happen. Take it for what it is.
This shit got stopped, boy. It looked like the barber put a welcome mat on your head. Nigga, you went from an uncle in the top pick to a nephew in the bottom pick. I can see you now trying to wipe the sweat off your head in the club and that motherfucker fall off. Boy, you got a brim put on your shape up. Change your name to Installments by Corey. Fuck, you got pedicure shape up. It look like you put black fingernail polish on your head. It look like a black napkin on top of your head. Top pick, sunroof open. Bottom pick, sunroof closed. You went from a 52-year-old struggling with a pain pill addiction in the top pick to a heavy-set 11-year-old who just got his hair cut because he turned 12 tomorrow. You look like a tan Ford Explorer with a black hood on it. Man, your shit look like all your hair rushed to the front of your head to get seats. It look like you got an airbrush graduation hat on. Fuck, you got a handkerchief on your head. Man, you look like a light-skinned big toe with a black nail.
Last niggas I seen her run the trap like me with Smackdown. But bitch, I run the South down. The Brooklyn try the last down. Bitch, I turned the South up. I named that bitch the New. Yeah, I got shot and I came back. I want answers. I got clues. I spent the block. I'm looking for you. You say you taking all these trips. Where you at, little nigga? I'm like, where you at? Where you at, little nigga? I'm like, where you at? Through the storm. God save my life cause I'm a real nigga. Damn right. God damn, it feels good to be real. Since I've been riding around looking for niggas, they hard to find. Looking for me, boy, you lying. Looking for me, boy, you lying. All this pressure applied. Higher shooters, they die. They might drop a dime. You know I ain't lying.
Well, more than $1 million worth of drugs seized by state investigators, but that's not the only crime here. This drug bust is also allegedly linked to the murder of a former Baltimore basketball star. WJZ is live tonight. Annie Rose Ramos with the indictment of 19 people, including a Baltimore rapper. Annie Rose. Well, Nicole, this is what over $1 million worth of drugs looks like, seized by authorities during their investigation into a Baltimore-based drug gang run by rapper Lorax.
We recovered nearly 9 kilos of fentanyl. That's about 20 pounds.
An investigation leading authorities to stash houses in Baltimore, where they found guns, heroin, and 9 kilos of fentanyl.
And 9 kilos, it could cause the overdose deaths of 4 million people.
Maryland's Attorney General announcing Thursday the indictments of 19 alleged gang members
Who were involved in a drug trafficking organization.
starting with their accused leader.
The leader was a man named Xavier Johnson.
Xavier Johnson, a rapper known as Lorax.
Johnson would direct members to rent apartments that served as the enterprise's drug stash locations.
The indictment also connects Lorax to the 2019 murder of Gerald Brown, a former basketball star from Baltimore. His murder is still unsolved.
Mr. Johnson directed Mr. Brown to rent apartment for the use of the enterprise.
The indictment charges Johnson with
Drug kingpin and with managing a criminal gang.
after a month-long investigation.
Identified and then charged an entire network of individuals we believe were supplying hundreds of people in the Baltimore region with heroin, fentanyl, and other drugs.
4 people shot and killed, including a former Loyola basketball player, Gerald Brown.
Known for his sense of humor and love for basketball, 34-year-old former Loyola basketball player Gerald Brown was shot and killed Friday night on the 3700 block of West Forest Park Avenue. The former player led an undefeated team at Frederick Douglass High School and played basketball at Providence and Loyola University, Maryland.
Receiving that phone call like an hour or so ago about G.O., that shit is so fucked up. So fucked up. I can't cry. I can't even really fathom, like, that shit don't even seem right. Like, yo, we live in a fucked up ass city. Baltimore is full of fucking hateful ass, deceitful ass, negative ass, jealous ass, envy ass, fuck boys. Bitches too. We live in a fucked up ass world. Everybody want to show off what the fuck they got that don't really have shit. And the motherfuckers that's really out here doing something and trying to better their lives, when we showed a little bit that we doing and what we have, you got all these envious, jealous ass, hateful ass motherfuckers out here that want to see you gone any fucking way. I hate
Now,
this.
it's important for me to show y'all those clips, especially for the people that's outside of the city. You know, because I wanted y'all to know who Lil X was. I wanted y'all to hear some of his music. He got some bangers. Go check him out. You know what I mean? It's still on YouTube. And I want you to see some of the things that transpired. I wanted you to see what he got actually caught with the state or the feds is alleging. Because I'm not sure if this state or federal case. I don't know if the feds investigated, but he being charged by the state. Like, I don't know. It's confusing. I wanted y'all to meet G Songs if you weren't familiar with him. Very funny. I had to throw my man Corey in there. So, Corey, if you see this video, I had to put you in there because I remember when you did that to your head and you was geeking. I didn't even know he got on you about that shit, but yeah, that was hilarious. So I had to, you know, catch y'all up to speed. But now we got some type of conclusion, or at least we know for Lil X's sake what's next for him, because he just pled guilty to being the head of a drug organization. Baltimore rapper Lil X pleaded guilty Monday to leading a criminal organization that distributed drugs throughout the Baltimore area, in which authorities linked to at least one killing in the city. The artist, whose name is Xavier Johnson, admitted to 1 count of organizing, supervising, and financing the gang, and 2 counts of being in possession of large quantities of a mixture of drugs containing fentanyl. Sentencing for Johnson, 33, has yet to be scheduled, but Baltimore Circuit Judge Lawrence R. Daniels bound himself to an agreement between Johnson and state prosecutors that will see him handed a punishment of 40 years in prison with all but a period of 15 to 25 years suspended, regardless of how many years the judge imposed for Johnson. The first 10 years of incarceration will come without the possibility of parole. Johnson's attorney, John Cox, declined to comment ahead of the sentencing, as did the Maryland Office of Attorney General, which prosecuted Johnson and 18 others charged with participating in the criminal enterprise. Johnson's plea deal includes a provision allowing him to appeal another judge's decision last fall not to throw all evidence obtained by investigators from the warrants issued in response to a faulty affidavit authorized by a Baltimore sheriff deputy. Johnson's attorney at the time, Kenneth Ravenel, had argued that Sergeant Jamel Rose intentionally lied on the affidavit submitted to a federal magistrate judge to continue investigating Johnson. The Maryland highest court suspended Ravenel's law license on the back of a federal money laundering conviction. He withdrew from Johnson's case later that fall. Cox began representing Johnson in December. The investigation that culminated with the convictions of Johnson and others who made up a gang traces back to Sheriff Deputy discovery of fentanyl during an eviction. During their probe, investigators from the Drug Enforcement Administration and Maryland State Police found Johnson crew maintained several stash houses throughout the city to store drugs and guns according to the indictment. Among those was a downtown apartment rented by Gerald Brown, the former Baltimore basketball star who led Frederick Douglass High School to an undefeated season in 2002, allegedly at Johnson's direction. According to the indictment, investigators raided that apartment on May 20, 2019, finding 2 kilos of fentanyl, a handgun, and drug packaging material. Brown was not going to go down for the items recovered in the search warrant on 300 South Paul Place. The indictment said without providing more details about the killing. Neither Johnson nor any other indicted alongside him were charged with murder. However, he and several others were indicted under the state gang statute, which resembles federal charges. The killing of Brown, who authorities alleged to be a part of Johnson's enterprise, was listed in the indictment as one of the gang overt acts. But all 3 of those indicted alongside Johnson have pleaded guilty, with their convictions ranging from conspiracy to distribute drugs to participating in the criminal gang, in one case supervising the gang. None of those who have been convicted to date were sentenced to as much time in prison as Johnson faces. Charges against 2 alleged members of Johnson's organization are pending. One person died before the case was adjudicated. My condolences to G Songs and his family. You know, he had a lot of love in the city. Father looked like a very active father to me. So a lot of people were hurt when he passed, man. A lot of people were hurt, man. Now, I really wasn't up on his content at the time. I think I was one of the ones that caught on late, but he was doing his thing, yo, and it fucked the city up, yo, when that happened to him, man. Now, I don't know if Lil X had anything to do with that or not. You know, you hear in the documents that they saying G Songs was going to cooperate, or at least he said he was. Maybe never was going to do it. Probably just was talking, but that's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game, man, and it's also a dangerous game when you in the streets and you involve civilians in your personal business, yo. Those 2 things should never mix. And I'm sure if this is true, that this how it all played out, I'm sure in Lil X's case, if he can do it all again, he wouldn't involve that man. But, you know, people in the streets got a tendency of doing that, you know, because their mind frame is the police ain't going to mess with him. Why? He a civilian. He go to work every day. He ain't out here in the streets. But like I said, you really shouldn't get civilians involved in street activity, yo. 9 times out of 10, it's not going to go right. Either a situation like this or worse, for real. And if it can get worse, shit, I think this is both situations where a person will tell on you, then, you know what I mean? It's just fucked up, yo. But, for this plea deal, to cop out the 25 to 40, because it's bounded by the judge, which means the judge got to stay within them parameters. That's still a very long time, yo, for drug charges. Very long time, man. Because like I said, they never really specified if he's convicted or pleading guilty to the murder. That's still like it's in the indictment, but it's like, I don't know how they did that, yo, for real. But it looked like to me, too, that Lil X had some wiggle room. You know, he got a loophole. Because before Kenneth Ravenel got arrested his damn self and got sent to prison, he put in a motion to get all the evidence thrown out because the evidence, the whole case was built off of faulty warrant. Did y'all hear that? So basically what happened is the sheriff evicted somebody, found drugs in the house, lied to the judge, got a warrant. And that's what started this whole investigation of Lil X. But if the warrant was flawed, the whole case should be thrown out. I just hate to see our black men keep going out like this, yo. Like, if we talking about drugs, we ain't talking about multiple bodies. We ain't talking about armed robberies, carjacking. We talking about drugs that's being placed in our communities to set us up for failure. And then it's another thing, too. I got to get this out there to people. I tell this to my nephew, yo. A lot of people want to get money, which is cool, you know. But you got to do it at a steady pace, yo. And it looked like to me Lil X got money real fast. You know, he was young when he was doing this. You figure mid-20s, you talking about a man, you know what I mean? That's not typical. That's not something you normally see. But when you go to prison at the end, you lose, you know. And we always supposed to play the game to win. It's like right now we dealing with a lot of people is playing to lose. They're getting money fast, coming up, maybe 2-year time frame. Go to prison, catch 75 years. And then it's like, damn, yo, what was this for? You know, now you're away from your kids. Now you're away from your family. Lil X got kids. It looked like to me he got a good heart, man. You know, you see him giving. You know, he take care of his people, yo. And it's just fucked up, yo. I'm sure him going to prison is going to affect a lot of people close in his inner circle. But at the same time, I think Lil X was well aware of everything he was doing. He stood on morals. He didn't tell on nobody. You gotta respect that. And that's all you can ask from a street guy, yo. It's when it all come down, because 9 times out of 10 it's gonna come down. Stand on it. You knew what you was getting yourself into when you was doing it. So when it's time to lay down like a man, do it in peace, yo. And I think Lil X is gonna do that. But I also think he's gonna have some rhythm on the appeal process, you know, because this case should never been no case. If everything they saying is right, should never been no case. But let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. Y'all think Lil X is gonna give it back? Would y'all have copped out to 25 to 40 years, or would they have to convict y'all of this situation? And how many people ain't even know about Lil X, you know? Go tap into his music. I'm telling y'all, shorty got some bangers. And then let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments, man. This is Keep It G News, and I'm out.